Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Sanders, and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Merry Christmas to those of you who celebrate it. And let's talk about getting the hands on our faux Breguet, or Breguet Nouveau. Okay, now, the last time what we did, we put the dial on, so the dial ought to be all ready to go. And this is what we want it to look like once we get the hands on. So it'll give you an idea. Note that we have the hands set at 3 o'clock. We'll talk about that in a bit. But right now, the first thing and the hardest thing to do is to put on the second hand. Now, the to orient you with it is that you have on the left there, you can see uh, and the on the enamel dial, it shows up pretty clearly. There's a little post that sticks up, and on that post you put the second hand, and there it is. And you can see the little hole. You have a little thing sticking up like this out of the second hand, and what you do is you put and this is hollow, and you slip it in there, and that can be tricky. So we'll be patient. Don't try to rush this. Sometimes you put it on and it goes right on. Other times it's a challenge. So let's take a look at what we do. Now, the first thing to try anyway is use your tweezers and sort of lay it up against it so that you can maybe push it up like this and then push it down over the post. That was the ideal set that you can do. Now, what I found is that you take a toothpick and you don't put much, you put a little what's called Rodico putty on the end of it. Or you can do the same thing with a piece of two-sided tape. But that thing looks like a telephone pole once you get in there. But all it is just a toothpick. And you put the toothpick on top of the second hand, lift it up. Now, you want the side that goes into the post, you want that down. And so you pick it up with this, and then you simply put it right down on top of it, like this. Now, what it's showing like there's a ton of Rodico putty on there. You don't want to have much Rodico putty. You just want a little, and just enough to hold on to it. Because once you push it down into the post, you want to be able to pull it up and not pull it off of the post. What you can do once you get it set, you can take your tweezers and put them on top of the second hand, and then pull it off, and then it won't pull the second hand off with it. Okay, now like I said, you got to be patient with yourself, because this is one of the hardest operations that you can use, that you can do on this. And it's important to understand that this whole operation is not it's not a race, and you can have hours and hours of fun with it. Putting on the second hand, once you got that on, the other hands aren't as hard at all. So let's take a look at the next two hands that we're going to put on here. Now, the next one is the hour hand. Now, remember, we put a sleeve over the post, the center post, and we put a sleeve over it, and so there's a thicker part that's for the hour hand. The gear that we put on top of that was a sleeve that went right over the center post, and that's where we put the hour hand. What we're going to be doing is that we're going to be putting the hour hand on the thicker part of the post, and then at the top up here, we're going to be putting the minute hand. Now, this, again, you've got to be careful about this. Probably the easiest way to do it is to put the hour hand, so it's somewhere between perhaps 1 and 3, but put it at 3 o'clock. sometimes when you're putting it on, it'll get squished around to different times. You got to watch out too because you have the second hand on there. You don't want to knock it off. So you do it very carefully. So you put the hour hand over the sleeve, and then you can press it down. Take some tweezers, put a piece of plastic over it, one of those little baggies or something like that, and then on either side of the no, I guess you'd call it the side of the hand, push it down to get it solidly in place. What you might invest in, all right, is called a hand tool. And the hand tool is something you just sort of put right on top of the hand and press it in. It makes it a lot easier with a hand tool, and it's got two ends. One end is for the hour hand, and then the other part of the hand tool is for the minute hand. Okay, you can also, I'll show you this later. This is also a tool that you put the watch under here, and then you bring it down on this like that. Okay, so that's what we'll do next. So first of all, let's look at what we have here. We got the hour hand on, and you want to place the minute hand directly on top of the hour hand, and then you want to put it at 12 o'clock, and so it looks like it's 3 o'clock. So the minute hand is on the top part. It's this part right here of the center post, and then the hour hand is on the bottom part, and it's pointing at 3 o'clock. Now, if you look at it, when you put it on, let's say you're using a hand tool, notice how in the picture that the minute hand is flattened right up against the dial. You don't want that. And so what you do, you simply rock it, and so that it is straight out. You don't want it, sometimes you have to walk it a little to get it onto the post right, but be sure to rock it so that it is straight in it. You want it to clear above the hour hand, and of course you also want both hands to clear above the second hand. So that's going to be very important. The way it's set up is that you can imagine 3 stacks. At the bottom level, you have the second hand. At the second level, you have the hour hand, and then at the top, you're going to have the minute hand. And like I said, if you're going to use a tool, be sure you have the red end or the whatever the color they have for the minute hand for that. By the way, you can get these under the watchmaking. I think you can get them on Amazon, or you can get them. There are a lot of different places you can get the tools for this, and I think you'll find it a lot easier with that. Now, if you use one of these tools right here, the thing that's great about it is that you're going straight down. It only goes in one direction, so you can really straighten things out that way. You can use it on all 3 hands too. This little tip right here comes with several different tips, and depending on the opening, how big the hole is, the biggest hole is going to be so that you can put the hour hand over the center post, and the sleeve on the center post. And then you have the smallest one will be for setting the second hand. One thing I found really useful for this thing is that you use it when it's almost has no give at all, and then you can gently and straight down push the second hand into place. One of the things you have to be careful about when you put the second hand in, remember you've got, here you have a hole, and then you have some part around the hole. And if you put push the second hand, the little holder part, between the side of the dial and then the post, you can crimp it. And you don't want that, because if you crimp it, then you can't get it over the post. So you have to be careful. And if you do crimp it, what I found, you can take a pointed end of your tweezers and sort of try to scoosh it back uh, to what it is. Anyway, like I said, be patient. If you want to get, by the way, too, I looked at these. I was looking at these online. These prices are all over the place. This one was about $7.45, and these little holes up there are to put these different things. I saw some for over $100. You don't need that. You just and they look just like this too. They're even the same color with the post. They're under $10. Remember that. So you can have more money to buy watches and watch parts. Anyway, any questions, go ahead and ask. You have in the comments section. And if you open this, I mean, if this is coming out on a Monday like all of these do, and this Monday happens to be Christmas Day, so Merry Christmas. Take care, and until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection.